everybody, I'm Allison. Welcome to my channel. This is Flosstube 26 and Crafty Vlog. My last Flosstube was 2 months ago. I've got lots of stuff to share. Cross stitch, punch needle, quilting, embroidery, some upcoming cross stitch stitch-alongs with some Flosstube friends. I have stitches for mom. I have a really fun Christmas gift for my husband I have to share with you. Let's jump right in. I'm going to start with the quilts behind me. This one is done. This is called the Friendship Star Table Topper. It was a quilt kit from Lori Holt, Riley Blake's Designs. It's 40 inches square. Aside from, I think, one of the squares here and one over here somewhere, I made mine exactly like the picture. I zoomed in and I saw which background fabrics were used where, and I matched everything up, but I had 2 fabric squares that were different than the picture. I am a long arm quilter, but this was a small project. I went ahead and put this on my Baby Lock Ballad, and I did the serpentine stitch along all of the seam lines back and forth. I'm actually going to hang this up in my hallway. I've got a curtain rod and I change out quilts between holidays and seasons. This is going to make a great decoration. Over on the other side, I have a 30-inch square. It's just a flimsy right now. The fabric on here is Laundry Basket Quilts, and I believe this is Kona Snow Solid. These are leftovers from a quilt that I'm working on, it's not done yet, called Jelly Roll Relish. This is a free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. You can download that for free. Here's the final layout when you go to sew everything together. When you cut your strip sets, you've got plenty of leftover. I went ahead and cut them to 10.5 inches because then you get 10.5 inches square, and just sewed them together 3 by 3. I think I will put this on the long arm. It'll either be a table topper or a wall hanging. It may end up in my Etsy shop. We'll see. And speaking of Etsy shop, I finally came up with a new design. My Etsy shop raises money for our rescue animals. This is called A Notion to Stitch. It's a counted cross stitch chart. If you're new to cross stitch or you like cross stitch smalls, please check out my Etsy shop. All of my charts are very easy to stitch. This chart I stitched on 14 count chalkboard black Ada, but if you look at the listing in my Etsy shop, I did some computer generated images on different backgrounds, so you'll get an idea of what it looks like on, I believe, white, cream, pink, pale blue, and I think I did a dark navy blue. That'll give you an idea of different backgrounds for this design. I have some FFOs to share with you. FFO's fully finished object, in case you're new. So something like this is an FFO. It is stitched, it is framed. I do have a finish, so that's something that's stitched, but it's not yet completed. It is going to go into a frame, so I'll show you that. But let's start with the FFOs. I stitched 2 charts out of the Just Cross Stitch 2025 Christmas issue. I stitched North Pole Penguin and a Folksmas Holiday 2. North Pole Penguin. North Pole Penguin is by Cute Embroidery by Kate. I believe she's Kate Stitcher on Instagram. She's really easy to find. And a Folksmas Holiday 2 is by Tracy Richards of Wrought Iron Stitching. You can find her on Instagram as well, Wrought Iron Stitching, if you look that up. I finished these both on these oversized, kind of like an ornament. It's a wood pile piece. There's the information in case you want to get one of these. They're 5 inches. I painted the beads on this red, so you have to untie it and pull the beads off and then put the beads on. I stitched North Pole Penguin with the called for colors on 14 count Aqua Dyed Effect by Fabric Flare. This here is white fabric over sticky board, and then my piece is mounted also on sticky board. And I had some palm trim in my drawer. I did not have enough red. Originally I did want to put red around this, but I like the black. It kind of makes the penguin stand out. It puts the focus on the penguin instead of the red in the stitching, and I had this nice light blue that matches the background. I don't know what you would call this. Oversized ornament, small wall hanging, doorknob decoration. Anyway, there's North Pole Penguin. And a Folksmas Holiday 2, I used the same wooden piece. I painted the beads on this. I just use an acrylic paint and then I spray it with a clear coat, pink and green. And this is on a 14 count Ada. If you like this, make sure you stay tuned. I forgot to say at the beginning, I have a couple of giveaway items, so you'll want to stay to the end. This is pink fabric on sticky board, palm trim, and then the pieces mounted on sticky board with palm trim. I didn't know what these were, so I posted this on Instagram and the designer actually answered, which was great. These are snowshoes. I live in Arizona. I don't know if I've ever seen snowshoes. I had no idea what they were. My first thought was they look kind of like maracas, but that didn't really seem to make sense. I didn't have the called for colors, so I used similar colors. I changed a few things to make sure it would be visible on this Navy Ada. That is a Folksmas holiday too. My next finish is small. It's the chicken from the Fall Feathers design. I think it's Little House Needleworks. I'll make sure to look it up and I'll put it on the screen. I changed all the colors. I wanted it to look like a Rhode Island red chicken, which were the first kind of chickens we had. They've since passed away. They were old chickens. I've got it in a tiny embroidery hoop, red palm trim, some stitching with the housewives ribbon, and on the back I have a piece of felt. I got this chart from Wendy at Wendy's Whimsical Stitches. I'll make sure to link her Flosstube below. Thank you for sending me the chicken chart. This was a free chart that came with a collection of classic Colorworks threads. So it was really nice of her to share that chart with me. The original chart has the chicken standing on a hill and there's flowers and then there's like flowers coming up, but all I wanted to stitch was the chicken. So there's the chicken. I have a finish, so finished but not FFO. I finished Beatrice, which is Chicken Club number 4. There's 12 of these. Eventually I will finish all 12 of these. The first 3 are actually completed in frames like this. I think my frame is white, but I did the same thing with the fabric and the rickrack. This is Beatrice. And Beatrice is still sitting in the Nerd's hoop, but all done. This is 14 count chicken wire by Fabric Flair. When I worked on the little chick, as I came around, I had an extra row. So he's 1 row taller than the chicken in the chart, but that's okay. I'll keep working on these, but I'm not in a big hurry to get them all done. I do have all 12 frames. I bought sets of 4 frames and I bought 3 sets. So I don't have to worry about getting it done and not having matching frames. There's a couple other things I want to work on, but I'll keep working on these. It'll probably take me, I don't know, 10 years to finish all the chickens. There we go. Beatrice. I have a couple works in progress. I am working on a dimensions kit. This is Patchwork Cow, 1994. Mair at Sin City Cross Stitching sent this to me. She showed it on her channel. I think she got it from somebody. They gave it to her and she wasn't sure what to do with it. And I commented how cute I thought it was and she sent it to me. So thank you, Mair. This is Patchwork Cow. I'm really close to a finish on this. The Ada is in the kit with all the floss, and the floss is kind of dry because it's an older kit. But it's a 14 count white. Here's my progress. You can see the hooves here at the bottom, the hearts, the bow tie, and last night I got part of the little mouth done. So all that's left for the cow is the mouth, the ears, and the French knot eyes. And you can see the checkerboard around it. I don't know if I'm going to stitch the checkerboard. I think I may just put it in a really nice frame, maybe make it a pillow or a wall hanging. I'm not sure because the thread is really, really dry. I think I may just want to finish the cow and, you know, there's a lot of back stitching on that. Back stitching makes this piece. Once I'm done with all the back stitching, I don't think I'm going to want to stitch that border. I should have it done next time. Patchwork Cow, working on that, and get ready for my oldest work in progress. So that's a whip if you're new to cross stitch. And if you're new to cross stitch, all the charts that I have in my Etsy shop are very beginner friendly. So check those out. They're all smalls. I have to flip this pattern so it doesn't show. I put up a poll on my Instagram because a memory came up for flea market flowers. Let's see if it says what year's on this. 2021. I bought it when it came out. In fact, Quarter Shop was having a stitch along, and I found out about the stitch along after it started, and I think they started up here and they already had part of it done. And I started on this flower back then, and I think I had about that much of it done. And at the time, I just couldn't keep up, and I got really discouraged. I put it away, and then I brought it back out again, I think about a year later, and I thought I would try 1/1 on 25 count, and I started stitching this one, and that just did not go well. I like to do a loop start, so stitching 1 over 1 isn't my thing. So I pulled out the original start, which is on 14 count. This is going to be huge when it's done. It's going to be 11 by 12.125 inches. The Ada I had folded it all, so it was all, you know, really folded. So I ironed it, but it still had wrinkles. So I made a really big Q-snap. So it's on a huge Q-snap. I finished the big pink flower and I started the next flowers. I'm stitching with the called for DMC. Here we go. I've got stuff on the table. Let me just tilt it and then I can bring it in closer. That is where I am with flea market flowers. I have to peek so I can see. Yeah, there you go. It actually stitches up pretty quick when I have time. The biggest problem with it being in this size Q-snap, it's way too big, but I threw it together to get the wrinkles out. I use a clamp stand. So right now, if I clamp it on this side, it's kind of hard to get your arm around the back. I'm a two-handed stitcher, so right hand underneath, left hand on top. What I've been doing is stitching like that, so I can get my arm to it on the right hand side, and when I hang up my chart, I just hang it upside down. Because your stitches will go the same way if you're just turning this way to this way. Just don't go halfway, then your stitches will be going the wrong direction. But I've worked on this a little bit. The past few nights I've been working on Patchwork Cow though, since it's almost done. So there is Flea Market Flowers. This is on 14 count something. I think I have a note somewhere. Here it is. 14 count Beautiful Beige by Witchelt. That's what I'm stitching that on. And I am using the called for DMC. There was a thread pack for this. Look, there's even a sticky note. That's when I started it, January 2021. I would like to finish it this year. I don't know if that's realistic or not, and you'll see why in just a moment. Part of the reason I haven't had quite as much time to stitch, and I've talked about this before, is I stitch at night. And one of our dogs has dementia, and I'm sort of like a caregiver, and a lot of times at night all I can do is take care of the dog. For this one I bought the Flea Market Flowers Floss Keeper too. Look at that. I usually don't use stuff like this. I just sort of wad up my DMC and I throw it on one of the little design boards like that. That's what I usually do, and just kind of, you know, put it in a circle and stick it on the board. But I had this all set up. When I started, I put the numbers on the back on pieces of tape, so I decided to use it as I'm working on it. I'm going to share some of Mom's finishes. The first one are the springtime ornaments. She stitched these for me. I gave her some 14 count fabric flare something. It has rainbow colors, but you can actually barely see it, and a couple of them got stitched on the back side, which is the white side. It really doesn't matter. But she stitched these and I finished them all in the little tart tins. So there's a bunch of these. So this is a sticky board with a little bit of batting underneath, and then you glue it into the tart tin. I didn't paint these, they do come white. These are from Fat Quarter Shop, and they make the sticky board circles the exact size for these tins. And I got some ribbon and put little bows on each of them. So we've got the egg and the flower, a carrot. These are great. I have a little wire. It's not really a Christmas tree. I kind of put it up by the front door and I can hang these on it. A little springtime bonnet. And she did these with the called for DMC. I think there were a couple she made some changes to the background because it wasn't stitching up really nice. Cupcake. Look at the bunny. Here's a bunny. She stitched these really, really fast. She's also working on my Lizzie Kate Halloween rules. She took that one over. I'll have a picture of her progress on that in a little bit. Here's our little chick. Easter basket. Now I stitched both the Valentine's Day ones and the Christmas ones. It's an umbrella. We have bunny hop. Little gnat in here. Happy spring. Easter eggs. I have a door open next to me. Somebody's got their dog out and it's barking. Ooh, yeah, it just fell over. And the little gnat keeps falling in front of my face. And a couple bunnies. These are probably those marshmallow bunnies. Now I can hang these up. Let's talk about, upcoming sales. I have a couple upcoming stitch alongs I'm going to do with some Flosstube friends. In no particular order. With Mair at Sin City Cross Stitcher, that's the nice lady who gave me the patchwork cow. We're going to start, I believe, on April 5th. We're calling it Seasonal Series Sal. I'll put that on the screen. And she was talking to me about stitching up Farmhouse Christmas, which I did have, and I found that, and I looked at that, but while I found that, I found something kind of that I wanted to stitch more. You know, the idea here is to stitch one of these a month and be done by Christmas, but, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be. I have Frosty Forest, the whole cross-stitch pattern set by Country Cottage Needleworks. These all have little animals on them. You can see I got this from Fat Quarter Shop. I've probably had this, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. And I also have the thread pack. So when I was looking for that Farmhouse Christmas, which I have actually just like this with all the charts and the thread packs, and I found this, I said, oh, I really want to stitch that. I'm going to stitch this on 16 count natural light Witchell Ada. That's what I pulled for that. And I'm going to stitch it 3 by 3. A few years back I stitched I'm going to have to look it up. It was the fall chart that was 3 by 3. But let me show you these charts in case you're interested. And we're going to start this April 5th. So if you've got some kind of seasonal series, you know, whatever you have, please feel free to join us, tag us on Instagram, use the hashtag, that'll be on the screen. Let's look at these. This is Raccoon Cabin. I'm going to leave them in the plastic for now. These are all the same size, and I can't see the size easily. I'm not going to pull them out right now. This one is Snowy Deer. Snow Girl's Cottage. Snowy Friends. This is cute. It's got a bunny and a squirrel on it. Bluebird Cabin. Now there are some buttons on some of these. Like I think this one has an owl button on it. I can't tell if that's a button or part of the chart. It's the button. Okay, so that little owl that's sitting on top of the tree is a button. I don't have any of the buttons for this. I'll just be doing stitching for these. If there's something where there's a button, I may add something else or just leave it blank. Snowy Foxes. And on this one, the button is right there, that flower button, but it looks like it's also charted. You can stitch it. I just opened this. I may need to contact Fat Quarter Shop. I have 2 Snow Girl's Cottage. That's funny. I think I'm missing something. And then Snowy Reindeer. Okay, there's Snowy Deer and Snowy Reindeer. So there's that. And for the center is Frosty Forest. I had to look it up. So I got 2 Snow Girl's Cottage. There should be a Snowman's Cottage and a Snow Girl's Cottage. So I'm going to send Fat Quarter Shop an email. I'm sure they'll respond on Tuesday because Monday's a holiday. They're very good with their customer service. I'm hoping that they have the Snowman's Cottage or a PDF. I honestly really don't care. And if they can provide that to me, then you'll probably see my extra Snow Girl's Cottage come up as a giveaway because I don't need 2 of them. Again, that's going to be a stitch along with Mair at Sin City Cross Stitcher starting April 5th called Seasonal Series Sal. So whatever seasonal series you have, pull it out, get ready to start. And the next stitch along is going to be with Marcy at Amnicon Stitcher. I'll make sure that everybody's floss tubes and everyone's information is linked below. We're still working on the details for this. This is called Farmyard Friends. It's a Lori Holt stitch. Fat Quarter Shop is doing a stitch along with this starting in April. We may piggyback on that and use their stitch along and kind of go along with it. If you've been watching Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube, you know that Kimberly already started this. I feel like by the time the stitch along starts, she's going to be done. But my mom gave me this for Christmas, so thank you, Mom. This is the Farmyard Friends cross stitch. This is a Lori Holt design. There's also a quilt with the same pattern here, and then there's like this design on the side of it. I like the cross stitch better for this one. I'll be stitching this with the called for classic color works on 25 count even weave pebble, just like this. My mom was very generous. She brought me the chart, bought me the chart, the thread pack, and the pebble vintage cloth. Look for this in April. Check out both of our Instagrams. We'll have more information. That gives me the rest of February and March to finish the patchwork cow and do some stitching on my flea market flowers, and then I'll be starting these 2 stitches. A little bit more cross stitch. I'm going to put up my mom's finishes. I'll just put some music behind it. I'll put all the details on the screen. That is going to be coming up next. After that, we're going to jump into some other crafts. Next, we're going to move on to punch needle. I have 3 Kimberbell punch needle kits. The first one I have here is called Patchwork Star, and I had stuff piled on top of it. It got a little flattened out, so I'll fluff it up a little bit. I am a Kimberbell affiliate. I'll put my link below. If you're interested in anything that I show you that's Kimberbell, please consider using my affiliate link. This is the front, if anyone's curious. This is the back. I coat the back with fabric Mod Podge. It's kind of flexible but plasticky. Regular Mod Podge makes it hard. Fabric Mod Podge lets it still move. What this does is it seals the yarn. So if you put these, in and out of storage, you're not going to accidentally yank the yarn out. I really like this kit. This is the same stitch. You'll notice how it looks flat here and loopy here. You punch some from the front and some from the back. The kits come on a pre-stretched canvas, and then I put the fabric frame around it. I have a video on my channel showing how to do the fabric frame. This was one of the Kona colors of the year, 2024 or 2025. It's like a mint green. It matched really well with this yarn, so I did the fabric frame for that. The next punch needle I have is called Piece of Cake. This one has some hand embroidery techniques on it, and this kit comes with felt blueberries. This makes me hungry. When I was working on this, I kept wanting to make chocolate cake. Doesn't that look yummy, even though it's yarn and totally not eatable? Edible? That would be edible, not eatable. And the little strawberries with the chocolate and white chocolate drizzle. And these are the felt blueberries. Very cute. I fabric framed this with Fairy Frost. Fairy Frost is by Michael Miller Designs. It's a sparkly fabric, and it doesn't give off glitter like a traditional glitter fabric. This one was a lot of fun. This has several different techniques to it, but the instructions are very clear. I have a video on my channel showing how to punch needle for beginners. You'll learn how to do different stitches. If you ever get a punch needle kit from Kimberbell and there's something you can't figure out, send me a message. I'll help you with that. There's the Piece of Cake punch needle. And the last punch needle kit is called Boho Blossoms. This one I would consider more of an advanced kit. It does have some hand embroidery technique to it. And this one I put in a gold frame. It has gold beads with it, and I thought, I think it would look good in the gold frame. And it did. It looks so nice. I love the way that came out. And I found a frame with an opening. You can see I just dropped the whole canvas in the back. I popped it in, I hot glued it to the frame, and then I hot glued this frame back right onto it. So it's ready to go. I have a post on my Instagram with more detail on this. If you have any questions, you can always email me. My email is azfamilyzoo@gmail.com. Let me zoom in. Different techniques again on this one. There's some French knots. There's some of these, I think they call them wagon wheel stitches. Really easy to do though. Lots of fun. I did use the glue gun for the gold beads. But this one is kind of more of a sophisticated design with a muted color palette. And the frames were a 2-pack, and I framed an older piece, but I didn't bring that back. There's enough back here already. So that is Boho Blossoms. That's all for punch needle right now. There aren't any new kits coming out anytime soon, so I'm all caught up on my punch needle. I've got a lot of embroidery and quilting haul. Let's do some haul because there's some cross stitching with the haul. Let's do that first, and we'll do Christmas gifts, and then we'll do quilting and embroidery. I bought myself a few things with the holiday sales. Fat Quarter Shop had the Kimberbell Happy Place Embroidery Project Embellishment Kit and the Kimberbell Folding Storage Tote on sale, so I bought these. I have a video on my channel showing how you embroider on the folding storage tote. And the Happy Place Embellishment Kit, I use these for rope bowls. I have several rope bowl videos. You can make leather tags, there's tassels, beads, buttons. They had a really good price on both of those. So I got that, and I got a cross stitch design. I need that like I need a hole in the head, so the saying goes. It came in this beautiful project bag. This is the Springtime Blooms pattern. I think this was one of their stitch quarterlies or some kind of special thing because it came with other stuff. But I really like this. It says, oh, March 2025 theme, Blooming Spring. Yes, this was their stitch quarterly. They had this on sale. I like that. It's a nice, easy stitch. It's a little big for me, but you can see it's kind of what I call color blocking. You know, here's your blue, here's your yellow, here's your red, so you're not switching colors all the time, but I love the flowers, I love the birds. I thought that was really pretty, and that comes with the Spring Sparrow Enamel Needle Minder and the DMC floss. This is all part of the kit. It has the 14 count Pale Gray Gingham by Fabric Flare. I think it's 14 count, wait, let me look. Nope, actually I think that's 25 count. But you can stitch it on whatever you want. And then there was a floss bobbin station that came with it. So this holds their plastic floss bobbins. It's not open yet. They'll sit inside these slots, and then this is a magnet to hold your needle. Not sure if I'll use that, but we'll see. So I got that. Probably not going to get to it anytime soon, but it was a really good buy. And here's the pattern again in case you want to see that one more time. I really like that. Very nice and bright and spring and colorful. Now I have some really fun, just a couple Christmas gifts. I'm wearing one of them, the chicken shirt. There you go. It's from my parents. Thanks for the chicken shirt. I have lots of chicken shirts now. My mom gave me some felted mice decorations, and I have to say, when I opened them on Christmas, I think the only one I saw was this one. So I thought they were all Christmas. So I put them in the little box that they came in, and I set it aside because I wanted to show it on Flosstube. Then today I was going through them and realized that I probably should have looked in the box. There are all different holidays in here. Here's your Valentine's Day. You know, they're just little decorations. They're a little flat because they were squished in a box. And this is probably, you know, Easter or spring, something like that. These are really cute. They're really good for display with your cross-stitch smalls, any of your little quilty things, photography. I'm going to put this one out now. Whoops, their tails are caught. St. Patrick's Day. It's got his 4-leaf clover. 4th of July, or any patriotic holiday. I can put them out now for Monday. Monday's President's Day. We've got, oh, Thanksgiving. Little pilgrim hat. Little cornucopia of veggies. And Halloween. It's got a witch hat and a pumpkin. They're very cute. Thanks, Mom. I'm going to set them back in the box. I need to decorate with them. I have some really fun Christmas gifts for my husband. He's a big cyclocross fan. It's C-Y-C-L-O-C-R-O-S-S. It's bicycles, not motorcycles, but bicycles, and it's obstacle courses. Through mud, through snow, they have to pick up their bike, they climb upstairs, they go down hills, they ride through sand. If you've never heard of it, you can watch some videos on YouTube, and most of the races are in Europe. It's huge in Europe. And some of these races are sponsored by this company called, I believe it's X2O Bad Cammers. They make bath products, and they have rubber duckies. And they have big inflatable rubber ducks at some of the races. They sponsor a whole series, and some of the trophies are like big, giant rubber ducky looking trophies. They're really neat. And they hand out things at the races. And I saw a hat, And I said, oh, that's really cute. I'd like to get one of those hats. So he's trying to find the hat for me. And they sell it to you, but only if you live in Europe. He has a friend who lives in Europe, and I believe it was Norway, and he knew the guy was coming out for a visit, coming after Christmas, but he ordered some of the ducky stuff for me, so he gave it to me after Christmas. The first thing is a pair of socks, and these are cute, but the second thing is even better. Here's the socks with the duck, and that's the company logo. So a pair of socks. But the thing that I saw on TV and I thought, man, I really want one of those, and it's really silly. And I almost wore it for the entire filming, but you can't really see my face if I wear it. He got me the duck hat. Are you ready? Are you ready? Look! Look at his hair. So fluffy. It's a baseball hat. See? There's the company logo on the back. So he ordered these, and he had these sent to his friend in Europe, and his friend wasn't coming over for 6 months, but he hung on to it for him, and then when he came by for a visit, he gave them to him, and then he gave them to me. So I'm not going to put it on all the way, but there's the duck hat, and you can put your ponytail through the back because there's a hole. Isn't that funny? I am going to wear this during the summer. I always put a hat on when I feed our animals. What the hey, why not? I'm gonna wear the duck hat. So funny. And I really thought about wearing it for filming, but when you put on a baseball hat and you film, you kind of see, you know, all you would see is like that. You can't see me. So then I would have to like tilt it up and it would just look weird. Great Christmas present. Love the duck hat. Love it. Thanks for my hat. I'm going to show one quilting thing, and then we're going to get into the embroidery. I am quilting along with the Quilted Farm Girl Quilt Along, and thank you to the person who gave me these plastic totes. I'm getting a ton of use out of these totes. This is a quilt designed by Lori Holt, and I have a short on my channel showing the first blocks. So this is the Quilted Farm Girl. There's also a cross stitch for this. It's an awfully big cross stitch. I knew there was no way I was going to be able to keep up with the cross stitch. They're having a sew along with Fat Quarter Shop. It goes for a whole year, so if you're interested, you can join in. It just started. I have a video on my channel showing the first set of blocks. I'm sewing this quilt on my 1927 Singer 66 sewing machine. We had to make 26 checkerboard blocks and 4 farm fresh blocks. There's the checkerboard blocks. I have a YouTube short on my channel going through all of these and a reel on Instagram. So I'm not going to go through all of them. There's a lot of blocks. And then the 4, I can show you the other ones because there's only 4. There's 4 of these, she's calling them farm fresh blocks. I'm all caught up for the first month. I did buy the quilt kit with from Fat Quarter Shop, and there's enough fabric to starch. I asked customer service just in case. When you starch, it shrinks. So I wanted to make sure before I starched everything that it was okay. I'm all caught up with that. 4 of these, 26? Yeah, 26 of the other ones. Next month we have to make 6 blocks. We're making 3 Farmers Market blocks and 3 bee blocks. Jump right in if you want to join that one. Socialites 3 also starts soon. I will be filming for that one as well. That's a free quilt along. It's 1 block a week for 25 weeks, I believe, with the exception of the July 4th week. I plan on sewing that one on my Singer Featherweight and making videos for those as well. We're going to go into embroidery, and I have a quilt along for embroidery. I'm hosting what's called the Perfectly Pieced 2026 mystery quilt. There's videos on my channel. There's a whole playlist for Perfectly Pieced. This is a digital product from Kimberbell. It's a monthly subscription. I have videos that explain all about it. And I came up with a couple of layouts. You can make a lap quilt, or you can make a ladder quilt. So I give this as a free download. All the information is there. I'll show you the first couple of blocks. If you're interested in that, go ahead and check out the Perfectly Pieced playlist. I'm stitching these with Lori Holt fabrics. The first block of the year was the teacup block. This is an 8-inch block and a 2-inch border. These are all quilted on the embroidery machine, pieced and quilted. So the only part on the sewing machine is sewing and attaching your borders. That's January. February was the orange peel, and because it's pieced instead of being curved, it has some angles. And they didn't really have an orange in this fat quarter bundle, and I picked kind of what I would call a burnt orange, and it kind of looks like a sweet potato. A couple people have told me that it looks like a sweet potato. But I just made one. If you would have made 4 of these, you could have made a design with that. I do have a video on my channel, and I'll show you that next, showing how to make something with the orange peel into a design. But if you're interested in this, you need to be part of the Perfectly Pieced subscription program from Kimberbell. I'll make sure my Kimberbell affiliate link is listed below for Kimberbell and for their subscriptions, and you need an embroidery machine. There's different sizes and different ways you can put this together, and I have information on my website for that free download. I'll link that below. With the orange peel block, I made a welcome door hanger. The orange peel is right here, and to make the flower you have brown on one side, white on the other, and then you've got leaves, and I embroidered welcome at the bottom. Put a little ribbon hanger on that, and it hangs over a doorknob. I have a video on my channel showing how to make this. These are 2-inch finished blocks, very small, all pieced in the hoop with your embroidery machine. We're going to go on to some fun embroidery projects. I'm just going to go through everything. Oh, and you're going to want to stay for the pillow parade. I've got 3 big pillows down here. You do not want to miss that. I have the You Are Loved projects from, this was, I believe, February's Hoop Studio. Might have been January. Mug rug and the little zipper pouch. I have tutorials for these showing how to make these projects. So there's the zipper pouch. And all the stuff comes in the kit. This is a monthly subscription. And I believe this was December's Hoop Studio. This is the notebook cover and pen pal. They're working on getting more of these blanks. I think the kit has sold out. You'll have to check. This goes around the outside. This just holds a pen. So you can put a pen in there. The kit came with everything you need to make this, and then you make the embroidery design and you put together the notebook blank, and they give you a notebook. And I'm so excited to be showing this because I've been needing to use this, and I've had it set aside because I wanted to show it on Flosstube. So now I can use my notebook cover and pen pal. I just posted a video for this teacup zipper pouch. This was from the Feeling Festive Bella Box 2025. So it's a set of Christmas embroidery designs. Bella Box is Kimberbell. This is something I purchased. I purchased this Bella Box. This was not provided to me. So it's a little zipper pouch. I made a big mistake when I put this together. You'll have to watch the video. I actually skipped this step, and I had to figure out later how to fix it. But it came out just fine. Really cute. Also from the Feeling Festive Bella Box, and also I made a mistake on this one. This is the Snow Place Like Home tiling scene. You make these in parts. So it's sort of like a tile, and you sew it all together. I put ribbons on the back so I can hang this up. And I've had this set aside for 2 months now, and now that it's time to hang it up, it feels like spring out, but that's okay. When I was making this, you know, you make each part. You need to be careful because the trees run between the tiles. Well, on this tree, it's really hard to see. It's kind of easier on camera. I used a different thread by accident. So I purchased these little mini dollhouse wreaths on Amazon, and I glued it on there with the glue gun, and then I put one over here to balance. Kind of distracts the eye from the different thread color. This came out really cute. I really like it. The only way you notice that is if you get really close, and frankly I've told you, so you see it. But now I can hang this up. Looks good. I have a video on how to make that. Perfectly pieced, I think December, we made what they call a design roll. This is the palm leaf block. So that's the block. And then on this side, there's pouches. So you can put, you know, pens, curling iron, hair dryer, shampoo bottles, whatever you like. And then what you do is you roll it up, and it has a ribbon on it, and you can tie it closed. It's great for travel. I'm giving this to my mom so she can finally have it now that I finally showed it. This is a really fun design. This is a great design to do in the embroidery hoop because there's no odd angles or cutting or measuring. It's really easy to do with your embroidery machine. Next I have what are called cinch sacks and a couple designs from the Well Wishes design collection. This is the Happy Birthday. This is a set of designs from Kimberbell, and I picked two. I think there's 6 or 7 in the design set. And I did the embroidery on these in the tutorial. They make these blanks and they come open so you can do the embroidery and then you stitch it closed on your machine and it's ready to use. Really easy way to make a project by using the blanks. They have things like this cinch sack blanks, pillow blanks, apron blanks. They have all kind of blanks. These were fun to make. Next we're going to see some pillows. I've made 3 pillows in the past couple months. And this is part of my Kimberbell affiliate work that I do. They provide me with the product and I make the tutorials and I show the designs. The teacup block. I had this fabric on my shelf. You can find the video and I've got details on the fabric. I made a teacup pillow. I had the perfect fabric in my stash for this with the teapots, the teacups, and the birds. So this is all made on the embroidery machine. I had the nice yellow solid, the pink polka dots. This is an 18-inch pillow. This is actually on my stitchy chair where I do my cross stitch, so you can lean against it for some back support. Really fun. Really enjoyed making this one. Envelope back. So envelope back. I needed to make it a little bit bigger. I had a cutting mistake, but that's okay because you put it on the pillow and you sit on it and nobody really sees the back. And then I've got 2 pillows with a lot of what are called embellishments. The first one is the Let It Snow pillow. This has a lot of my own ideas on this. The original Let It Snow pillow has a snowman and it's done in different blues. I did fairy frost fabrics, pink and purple, and I made it a snow lady. Here's the back, this nice purple that I have. Here's the front. In case you haven't seen this already, I do have tutorials on this as a series where we work through each of the blocks, and I posted it on Instagram. I made a snow lady. This snowflake is what they call freestanding lace. I have videos that show you how to do all of this. It's got a pom-pom. I gave her some yarn braids, a little chenille yarn scarf, and a tulle skirt. So I made Snow Lady with that. There's some of the detailed blocks down there. This is a white felt. I had this to make stockings, you know, the stocking cuff. So this has some texture to it. There's glitter vinyl on the marshmallows and more freestanding lace on the snowflakes. And I was so excited. I saw somebody post theirs in the Facebook group. They watched my video and they made a snow lady. It was so nice to see that. I'm so glad they shared that. I had hairs on this. There we go. So there's my Let It Snow pillow. The border detail is really fun on this one. Really neat design. There's the Let It Snow lady. And then the big pillow. I made a bench pillow. It's the Sweetheart Street pillow. And these are all Kimberbell. And they provided me with the digital files for some, and then for the Sweetheart Street, they provided me with the fabric kit and all the embellishments and everything. This is the back. It's designed to sit on a bench, and it lights up, so I'll show you everything and then I'll light it up. That's fairy lights on it. This block here, I believe, is Sweet Stems 2. We've got the Soda Crush block. You can see it has fun things like buttons and vinyl and glitter vinyl, cupcake buttons, vinyl on the windows. There's a button right there at the top. And this fabric is called Sweet Shop. I've actually ordered some yardage to make some fun projects with it, because there's a gummy bear print. It was just too cute. The signs, and the little house came with 3 different designs you could pick for the sign. And this is Sweet Stems 1. There's a zipper on the bottom that runs the length of the project, And then there's little pouches that hold the fairy lights. Let me turn on the fairy lights. All right, here we go with lights. Even though it's bright, you'll still be able to see it. So that is the Sweetheart Street bench pillow. Right now it's sitting on top of the dog couch because there's stuff on the bench by the door. We're going to do some updates and then I'll do the giveaway at the end. As far as construction updates, I've started filming those separately. I'll link the playlist below. Since my last video, they've actually put in the windows and the doors, and we've got kind of cloudy weather, so right now the roof is tarped. We're hoping it doesn't rain. I'll film another update soon for that. Let's do an animal update. We have a new animal, Jimmy the red-eared slider turtle. A picture will pop up on the screen. This is a small baby turtle. Somebody was gifted this turtle. Her boyfriend bought it from somebody's trunk on the side of the road. Somebody was selling turtles. I just think that that's just awful. Somebody's just standing there selling baby turtles. He came home with it. She knew that this cute little baby turtle is going to turn into a dinner-sized baby turtle and either need a super large tank or a turtle pond. She found me by looking online and on Instagram and sent me a message, and we were more than happy to take in Jimmy the turtle. As soon as the turtle's big enough, we'll get it outside into a pond. Libby had a small seizure. If you've never watched this channel before, Libby's one of our dogs. She has epilepsy, but other than that, she's doing well. Jacqueline has been having some issues. Her dementia is getting worse, but she's still a happy dog. We have medication for her dementia. She does the best she can. She's also almost completely blind, and she is deaf. The biggest problem we're having right now is she's becoming incontinent, and we're very lucky we have tile throughout the house. I've bought some washable rugs for certain areas of the house. That way if she has an accident, you just kind of pick it up, hose it off outside, and you can throw it in the washing machine. And of course we've got potty pads, but she's not potty pad trained, but sometimes you'll take her outside and walk her, and you'll be out there with her for maybe 10 minutes out in the backyard and nothing happens, and then she'll walk inside, turn the corner, go down the hallway, and pee all over the floor. We did try diapers for her, and unfortunately every time you put a diaper on her, I think it's the feeling around her waist, but it makes her poop, and it's like a Pez dispenser, and she walks all over pooping. So diapers are not an option. I just do my best to take her out frequently, give her plenty of time outside to go to the bathroom, and when she has an accident, we just clean it up. That's about all we can do. That is everything I have to share. If you've watched the whole thing, thank you so much. We are going to move on to the giveaway. I have two, both courtesy of my mom. Thanks, Mom. One is this navy blue Ada that I showed earlier. This is a 14 count Ada. Both of us had a really hard time seeing this. I don't know, the holes were a little bit difficult. But this came from the Attic Needlework in Mesa. That's about an hour from here. So since neither one of us is going to use this again, we're putting it in for a giveaway. I'll show you what's in here. There's a couple odd little pieces. This little piece here. This piece here. If you do ornaments or smalls, it's perfect for that. And a pretty good sized piece right here. That's about probably 10 to 12 inches square. If you like this navy blue Ada and you're interested in that, comment fabric. And you can enter for both of these, but just use the words. Don't use giveaway, don't use free, don't use contest. If you're interested in this, comment fabric. And I'll do the drawing sometime before the next Flosstube. So you have at least a month to enter, but enter as soon as you can, and then I'll comment on your comment and let you know you won. So fabric, if you're interested in that. And my mom donated this beautiful chart. She bought it for Stitch Along, then just decided she wasn't going to stitch along, and I don't have the time to stitch this. This is called Monster House by Satsuma Street. This is a big chart. This is a printed chart. It's a Halloween chart. It's 131 by 217. That's a really big stitch. If you're interested in entering to win Monster House, comment the word house in the comments below. And it's just the chart. There's no floss or anything, but this is a really nice printed chart. I haven't even opened it and looked at it. It looks like it's more than one page. I see a fold here and a fold here. This is a big piece. Again, this is 131 by 217. If you like big colorful stitches, definitely enter to win that. Please be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. And don't forget these 2 cross-stitch stitch-alongs are coming up. I gave details on that already. And then I've got the 2 quilting quilt-alongs going as well. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below the video for me. Very excited that you've taken the time to watch the whole way through. Enter the giveaways if you're interested, and I will see you next time.